Okay, so welcome back to our podcast. This is all schools for the entire segment. This is now on the line with us.
Letting parents sound off.
Yeah, that's right. Letting parents sound off because parents are what matters. And by the way, we do not expect to co-parent with the government.
Not according to Governor Pritzker, though. Parents do not matter.
No,
parents don't know what's best for their children.
No,
not according to the governor.
You know, he might as well just put up the Berlin Wall around the entire state of Illinois because that's what he intends to do.
If he's serious.
If he's serious about stopping COVID, are we going to become Australia?
Right.
Like nobody in, nobody out?
Yeah, drones flying over
beaches to make sure people stay out. I mean, that's what he wants to do. It's ridiculous. Well, on the phone with us right now, though, is Heather Beck. Heather Beck is a outspoken parent at Wheaton and a very respectably outspoken parent, saying reasonable things in a reasonable tone of voice to her school board over and over and over again. We were there June at the meeting for District 200 where Heather spoke, and she had her facts straight. She was reasonable.
Yes.
And she's on the phone with us now because, Heather, we were all super excited just a couple weeks ago when our school district made the decision that we thought was the best decision for parents, and that was that it was a mask optional policy. So if you want to mask your children, go ahead, have them wear a mask. If you don't want your children masked, then they're free to attend school without a mask. We were elated. I was elated. I was really wondering what was I going to do with my daughter, who's a senior in high school. I do not want her to go into school in a mask.
I felt like a load had been lifted when these decisions were made.
I felt like everything was kind of going to go back to normal. And then Pritzker came down with his edict just 2 days ago, basically saying it's all masks all the time, unless you're playing football. Unless you're playing
somehow,
outdoor
like
sports.
Magically, when you walk through the gates and you're tackling each other to the ground,
and there's a dog pile on the 50-yard line,
the spit's flying out.
Yes.
Somehow,
the spit
COVID is not a thing.
COVID's not in that.
The spit and the sweat. That's right.
Yeah, it's not there.
Like and the blood and the
right. So when the center goes and hits the offensive lineman, and they're like head to head, there's no COVID there.
No
COVID.
Also, Lollapalooza. Fine.
Yeah, Lollapalooza, fine. Of course, his mandate comes after Lollapalooza.
Well, right. And COVID's like the least of your concerns. At Lollapalooza, like you leave Lollapalooza and find out all I got is COVID. Okay.
This is a joke.
Yeah.
But Heather, we're sitting here like, I mean, honestly, I guess we should be less angry and more like just ridicule these people because they are the most unserious bunch of politicians ever to hold office. And that in my lifetime, I've never seen such ridiculousness.
Totally.
Anyway, so
but we're mad because our kids are affected.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, what are you going to do with your kids? How are you going to, we want you to help. We want you to continue
What was your
to fight
reaction?
Back. What's your reaction? Yep.
Well, thank you, ladies, for giving parents a voice. Over the last 16 months, many of us have felt very voiceless. It's when you ask how I feel, I have a lot of feelings, most of them negative. However, as you mentioned, Jeannie, when our district made the decision a couple weeks ago to allow masks to be optional for the choice to be up to parents and families, this was absolutely the right decision. This was announced at the July board meeting. Dr. Jeff Schuler confidently affirmed that these decisions belong indeed to local school boards rather than the state imposing a one-size-fits-all approach. To have that just changed overnight, literally, just really felt defeating. It's discouraging. I would say it's currently the greatest stressor for our family personally right now.
I don't
what's
disagree.
Going on? What are the conversations you guys are having right now?
And how many kids do you have that are still affected by this?
Well, I've got 2 kids that are still affected, 2 high schoolers. Like you, Jeannie, I have a rising senior. As we all know, we're going now on 3 years of schooling that has now been negatively impacted here in Illinois. And it's not because droves of kids are actually getting dangerously sick, but it's because of draconian measures that are being put into place. Our family personally already had 1 child whose senior year was ruined. No prom, no graduation, no end of high school festivities. And my rising senior was both relieved and overjoyed to hear that she wouldn't have to cover her face and have her breathing hampered for her senior year. she had hopes of a normal school year, and that's now been crushed. So we're in a really difficult position right now, trying to figure out what to do. We're weighing our options. It's just really frustrating.
We're weighing our options too. And I mean, so my daughter competes in show choir. We had the same conversation earlier with Amy Kipfer, but I want your reaction too. Maybe you have a similar situation. Many of our activities, many of our teams, they do compete against across state lines. And when they go to compete in Wisconsin, for example, for a show choir competition, they're not going to have to be masked, but they're going to have to be masked in Illinois. I mean, to our kids, what are we teaching them when none of this makes sense and the rules are different across borders? COVID doesn't react differently in different states.
Exactly. The virus does not know anything about state lines.
Well, they don't also know anything about your basement when you have a pile of kids down there playing video games together, and then they go to school and they have to be masked. I mean, are the administrators this stupid? And I intentionally use that word because you have to be stupid to not understand what's going on privately in people's homes.
I guess my question is, how stupid do they think we are? Because, as you mentioned, Kathleen, to see the pictures of Lollapalooza and to see, the people crammed like sardines in the metro, which is fine.
Right.
But if you allow that, do not let that end. And then one day later, now say that our kids need to be masked 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, or they will be denied an education in the state of Illinois.
Well, we're going to continue to show up at school board meetings. I'm sure you are too, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Amy, if you had Governor Pritzker in front of you, what would you say to him?
I would say, Governor, please leave our kids out of this. We have learned so much about this virus. This is a virus like others. As it mutates, it maybe becomes more contagious, but it definitely becomes less deadly. We're seeing that. We have got to follow the science, not politics, not wrong agendas. We need to look at the data, and the data is that our kids, 20 and under, are not affected severely or very negatively by this virus. They're not being hospitalized. They are not dying. They have robust immune systems. Our kids are being used as pawns. And we're tired of it. And we're tired of the state getting in between parents and children. That's a sacred relationship. And we will do anything that we need to do to protect it.
I agree. I mean, so there's been a lot of other suggestions about, hey, we're not going to send our kids to school on particular attendance days because we know that the state takes a head count on those days to determine education funding. Or we're just not going to pay our property taxes. I mean, I don't know how far you can go with that without them taking your home away. Well, I know.
Tell me what you guys think about this.
Yeah. Okay, Kathleen's got a plan.
Tell me what you think about it. I've been trying to get a hold of Dr. Schuler. He's not returning my emails, not returning my phone calls. But
I think he knows who you are.
He may. I demanded he get back to me at one meeting. Anyway, but it was important. I think he needs to make the governor, and most superintendents should do this, say, we decided as a district that we were going to allow parents to choose how to send their kids back to school. That was our decision as a district. If you want to override that, you come to my August 18th meeting and you talk to my parents about why their kids all have to go in a mask.
Yeah, we'll even give you more than 3 minutes.
You want me to implement this?
We'll give you more than
3 minutes. You can have 6 minutes.
You can have 6 minutes to address the parents in the audience.
I mean, I don't know if Jeff Schuler is listening, but that's what I'm trying to get a hold of you.
You know what? Let's email him that. That's a great suggestion.
I will email him that.
Let's put it out on Facebook too.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. Come and face these people.
Yeah, exactly. When's that guy been in front of people at a town hall?
Not once that I
questions?
can see. He stands up and does all these press conferences. Come and talk to the people that this is going to impact. He doesn't go,
No, he won't come here.
He won't go and talk to the workers in Southern Illinois who wants to shut their plant down, won't go say anything to them, just going to sign on to some deal that'll do it, won't talk to parents, but before he tells you we're not going to educate your kid.
Probably off in Florida.
Jumping horses in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And maybe his son's up at the ranch in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe his wife returned to South Dakota where she grew up.
I think she's in
a
Florida.
Free state. Oh, she's probably in Florida. Yeah. A little more sexy there.
Yep. But they don't want to live under these rules. Nobody wants to live under his rules. His own family doesn't.
Mm-mm.
No.
No, over and over, it's been rules for thee and not for me. And, people are seeing through it.
So what are your friends saying? What do other people that you talk to? You have a different friend set probably than we do. What are they saying? And are they going to push back? And how about the parents that you're a Wheaton North mom, I'm a Wheaton South mom. What are you hearing?
Yes, they're absolutely going to push back. I've got also a lot of friends in the private school, and they're worried about being affected as well because of the overreach of, the governor's mandate. He's saying this applies to private schools as well. So, their school has not made an announcement yet. They're weighing everything. They're definitely listening to the parents. But absolutely, every friend that I'm in contact with is definitely planning on being at the school board meetings, speaking. They're sending emails.
Yep. We need 500 to 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
August 11th and August 18th.
And August 18th, both.
The thing about the private school, and I'm glad you brought that up, it's a good reminder that this does apply to private school as well. And I've talked to a number of people who are like, oh, that's our linchpin. The private schools are supposed to be treated privately. And so they're the ones who need to file the lawsuit to get this mandate off. And I'm like, okay, fine. But you know what? Don't you leave us public school parents behind. That is wrong. We want this. I don't care. You can make your lawsuit about private schools. It needs to be about all parents.
Have a say over your kids' health.
That's right. Public or private.
Right.
Public or private. I mean, great. If you think you can win the lawsuit for your private schools, great. Fine. I mean, my kids went through private school K through 8th grade. And I know you still have one in private school, Kathleen. But I mean, you know what? No, I want everybody to be part of a lawsuit against this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you discussed this earlier on the podcast, but we need to remember that the HB 2789 did not get passed.
It
got defeated overwhelmingly.
Resoundingly,
and the reason that bill was introduced was because they already knew the local school boards do have the control. They are the ones that make the decisions. There would have been no need for that legislation to even be brought up. If that wasn't the case. And as you know, there were maybe 100 and something proponents of that and like 17,000 against it. And those were just the people that filled out witness slips. So, it was defeated overwhelmingly, and that sealed the deal that the control of these decisions is indeed still local.
So we've heard from various people that the school boards are basically caving because their lawyers are telling them that they could possibly be sued. Their insurance companies are saying that, we're not going to cover claims if somebody were to sue you for COVID or whatever, and all of that. But we don't know that is actually true. We don't. Right. We want an additional legal opinion showing why they think that they are in legal jeopardy, because we don't believe that in fact is the case. We think that these are just. I mean, even the CDC's. They're only recommendations. They're only guidelines. This is not written in law. There's no law. And in fact, I've been alerted that actually Governor Pritzker's executive orders were ruled unconstitutional by a Will County judge back in May. I have some people looking into that. And if that's the case, then all of this falls apart to begin with. And I don't know that they have actual legal standing when it comes right down to a court of law to do this. So. And I think that the school districts are just caving because it's easier for them to cave this way.
Yeah, and they kind of agree with it. Like they kind of philosophically hold the same beliefs as he does, that we're all idiots and they should make all the decisions.
So we should demand, I think one of the demands of our school board on August 11th and August 18th, and even prior to that, we should send an email saying, show us the legal opinion from your lawyers saying that you are legally bound by his executive order. I want to see it in writing. I don't think that is the case.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, hey, we appreciate everything
Heather.
that you've
I think
done.
I called
Heather.
you Amy. Heather.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
thank you.
okay.
Heather, you have been
You're
just,
a rock star.
You are a rock star.
Aw.
You have actually been one of the people leading the charge for months.
Yes, you
before
were at
people
meetings
get involved.
before people showed up.
Yep,
you were there with us when there were only 6 other people.
She was there before
And
us.
even before that.
Before us. You're the one I got the Unmask My Children signs from.
right.
You have done so much good work on this issue, and we so appreciate you, and we'll continue to fight alongside you as much as we can. So
Thank you
for
so much.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I'm
Heather.
so grateful.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great
Bye.
day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.